All right, this is Pastor Chip Cunningham. I'm here with my friend Tensie King,
Hi.
Medford King, and I met Tensie a while back. How many years has it been now?
4.
About 4 years. Her and her husband had a meeting there in, what was it, CompCare?
Yeah.
CompCare here in town, Middlesboro, the city of hope. And she's got a story to tell. I see her as a great success story. I know God's going to really use her, and I'm praising the Lord for her and the continence and the way that she's able to communicate with her heart. So I'm going to just turn this over to her, and why don't you just tell us a little bit about your story, okay?
Okay, so before I get started, I want to say a little prayer because I'm really nervous, and this will be the first time I've ever shared my full testimony. And as an addict, it's really hard for people to talk about some of the grimy stuff that we've done in our past, but I really want to get really brutally honest today and just share everything with you guys, because what I'm supposed to do is tell you what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And my pride wants to tell me, don't say this and don't leave this out, but the reality of it is it's that stuff that helps other people. So give me a minute, let me pray, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, go for it.
So God, I offer myself to Thee to build with me and to do with me as Thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, so that I may better do Thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I will help with Thy power, Thy love, and Thy way of life. May I do Thy will always. Amen. Okay. Tensie addict. My sobriety date is February 22nd, 2020. I'm the mother of Clark Ledford and Mitzi Harris. I have 2 siblings. I have an older brother who is 9 years older than me. I have a twin brother who I'm 29 and a half minutes older than. And then I have 2 stepsisters. So growing up was what I thought to be pretty normal. My mom and dad, they were both addicts at a very young age for me. I can remember my dad drinking and my mom partying a lot. And my mom and dad ended up getting a divorce when I was 7. And my dad rededicated his life to the Lord, and he stayed clean. My mom didn't. So there were many years that I've, witnessed my mom using. My mom would go missing for days at a time. I can remember being a young child and crying for days at a time, wondering where she was, and feeling like that she had left me and my brothers. My papa, my grandmother, she would keep us, and I remember she would build us a cot back in the back bedroom, and we would fix it beside the window because the driveway was beside the window, and we would lay there and just listen for my mom to come up. Later on, I found out that my mom was actually in a psychiatric unit trying to get help, but then, we didn't understand. We just thought that she would just go missing, and this happened a lot. I can remember many times coming home from school and finding my mom belligerent. She would be out of her mind. I can remember one specific time that I'd got my report card and I wanted to come home and show her how good I'd done, and she was so messed up that she couldn't even look at it. Now, when I talk about my mom, I talk a lot about her use, but my mom was a really caring and loving mom. Like, if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't know how to pray. Like, my mom would always make a point to put me and my brother to sleep at night, and she would always pray for us. She was the first person that ever talked about Jesus with me and my brothers. So she made it a point at an early age to let us know how important he was. Anyway, so I would go back and forth on the weekends to my dad's. I can remember, I can't remember exactly how old I was, I think 12, but we had went to the mall, and my stepdad had got really angry at me because at this point I was really mouthy and wanted to speak my mind. I did not like him. I felt like that he had tried to take my dad's spot, and I did not like that, you know. So I can remember being really mouthy with him, and he had got me out of the vehicle at the mall and started beating on me pretty bad. The beating felt like it lasted forever. I can't remember it physically hurting me as bad as it emotionally hurt me, because my mother stayed in the front seat and didn't get out to help me. I can remember looking through the front glass of the vehicle, and I remember thinking, why is she not helping me, you know? I think that was when I first started my first resentment against my mom. Like, I felt like that she was supposed to protect me and love me, and she should have been doing that, and I felt like that she had turned her back on me, you know. My stepdad whooped me pretty good, and I can remember him throwing me in the car, and when he threw me in the car, I said I want to go to my dad's, and that's where I ended up. They took me to my dad's and threw me out at the bottom of the hill, and I made it up to the front porch where my stepmother found me and called my dad. My dad was working night shift at this time, and they took me to the emergency room and got me looked at. The next morning, my dad took me to my mom's and went in and got a chair, set me in the chair, and went in and brought my stepdad out and, you know, laid him to in front of me. And I remember thinking, that's what he gets. Get him, Dad, you know, get him. And it shouldn't have been like that at all. I remember my mom coming out and telling me, look at what you've caused. So my dad had ended up going to court and getting custody of me, which separated me from my brothers and my mom, which also added to the resentment against my mother. Like, look at what you've done. You know, if you could have just done something, then you could have prevented all this. I could have been with my brothers and with you. So I can't remember exactly how long the court battle went on or whatever, but it kept me from being with my mom for a while. And then when I did get to go back, like the first weekend I went to go back, I can remember showing up and my mom had ran off to Florida. She wasn't even there. So it wasn't long after that my mom had overdosed. So my mom, we got off the school bus or whatever. My mom was really belligerent and talking out of her mind, which was really kind of normal to us, you know. There were so many times that my mom would do this, and we would, you know, we wouldn't call the ambulance, but I would go call my papa, and my papa would come to check on my mom, or my papa would call and have the ambulance come, and that's kind of about, you know, what happened. And I went on to stay on night with one of my friends. I'm at my friend's having a good old time, and my dad calls and tells me to get my stuff ready. You know, it's time for me to come home. So I get kind of upset, not knowing, like, at this time my friend's mom worked at Millsboro Hospital. She had come in and called my friend Tanya to, you know, to the bedroom. And I can remember when they came out of the bedroom how weird they looked, but I didn't understand what was going on. And I was still caught up in why my dad was coming to get me. You know, why couldn't I stay all night? So when my dad got there, I remember opening it. He had an old 55 Ford, and I remember opening up the truck door, and the street light shined in on my dad, and I can remember tears coming down his face, you know. And I thought, oh no, something's bad wrong. And this was before the tunnel was built. So we came across the mountain, and it was the longest drive I've ever been on in my life, because, you know, I kept asking him what was wrong, and he said, you know, Tensie, I don't have the heart to tell you twice. You know, wait till we pick your brother up. So, you know, I just stayed in my mind, and I was thinking, you know, what's wrong? What's going on? Somebody's hurt. Something bad's wrong. But not one time did I think it was my mom. We pulled up to my Aunt Kathy's to get my brother. He was staying all night with my Uncle Goo. And he got in the vehicle, and by the time we made it to my dad's house, my Aunt Kathy and my Uncle Goo was there already, so I knew that was kind of weird. But we got in the house, and my dad set us on the couch, and he told us, he was like, Tensie, you know how we've talked about heaven? And me and my brother, we were like, yeah. And he said, well, that's where your mother is. So my mom had overdosed and died from Tylenol poison, which is kind of rare, but that's what happened. So at this point, me and my brothers, me and my twin brother, we moved in with my dad. My older brother, he was getting ready to have a baby, and I stayed with my dad, and things got a little normal, I still had a bad resentment against my mom, and it wasn't long after that she had passed away that I started using for the first time. I remember I'd started cutting, and I can't tell you why I started doing that or how that even happened. I can remember one time just being, I guess, in a blackout, but I come to and I had cut myself pretty bad. And I wrapped myself up and went to bed and got up the next morning and went to school. And my stepmom showed up at school the next day and wanted to look at my body. And that's when she found out that I had cut myself. So they had sent me to Charter Ridge. I went to Charter Ridge and stayed, I can't tell you how long, but pretty much what they said was that, I'd had an emotional or mentally break from losing my mother, and I was using drugs too. So I guess that was my first time realizing that I was a drug addict, and I realized that I was different. I always felt out of place and not wanted, not loved. I had a bad fear of abandonment after that. Just really standoffish. I don't know, and I always felt like that I was different. So I ended up coming home, and I stayed clean for a little while, and ended up started drinking again. We were drinking pretty heavy on the weekends, and before I knew it, the weekends turned into the weeks. I can remember me and my buddies, we would all get together and put all of our money in together, and we would buy a whole bunch of pills and just split them up, and before I know it, like, I'd wake up on Monday and couldn't remember nothing that had happened through the week. As I got on through, I guess, middle school, high school, freshman year, I guess, is when I really started getting wild.
So what's your age?
How
old were you at this time?
I was probably about 16. Okay. Yeah, when I got 16, I started really getting wild, and then I really started feeling different because I couldn't drink just one. I couldn't take just one. When I started, I wanted to go all out, and I went far and beyond. I got into a couple car wrecks. I'd lost a friend in a DUI accident. Just a lot of trauma, but it didn't stop me. I continued to use and use and use. I was going to school high. I would get, I can remember being out in the school parking lot and just passing out in the car seat of my buddy's car and waking up, throwing up everywhere. And this was how, my life went forever. But let me go back. So my brother had a little girl, and the little girl's mother had had left the little girl. So I ended up moving in with my brothers. And when my mom died, we had done come together and decided, that it was us three, and we were all that we had, and we were going to take care of each other, and that's what we had decided to do that day. We were a team, and, pack of wolves is what we said we were, and we were going to take care of each other, and that's what we just, we tried to do for a long time. My oldest brother, he was selling pot and pills out of the house that we were living in, and I learned from a young age, that was the thing to do, I can remember being really young and my brother wrapping me up with marijuana and going house to house to house to house, and all these older people would watch him unravel it, and we'd get, just make the money, and that was the life. So I learned at a young age, like, that was what to do, you know. I didn't know that, I really didn't know that there was any other lifestyle. Our house was pretty much like wide open. We got traffic all day, all night. I was trying to take care of my brothers. I was cleaning house, keeping up house, taking care of my niece who was 16 months old. Like I said, her mother had took off and left her. The first 2 years of her life, I slept in a closet with her. I just thought that her mother was going to come back and take her from me, and I wanted to protect her. And I felt like I was her mother, and this was me at 16-year-old, you know. But I took on the, I guess, I wouldn't say mother role with my brothers, but pretty much that's what I done. Like, I kept up the house, and we just all took care of each other. When my older brother went home, me and my younger brother, you know, we would take care of the business when people would come. We just took care of each other. And we paid, you know, that's how we made our money. That's how, and we took care of my niece. There were many times that I would go out and shoplift for her. I would steal her clothes. Whatever she needed, I made sure she had it at any length. Like, it didn't matter if she needed it, she got it, and I made sure that. I don't know, it was just a crazy, but, you know, in all reality, like, we loved each other, and we were just trying to stay afloat, is what we thought. I can't explain it any other way. So, sorry if I get emotional. So anyway, that happened, and me and my brothers, it was always just us for a long time until I met my baby's dad, and I got with Tim at a young age. Tim took care of me. He took care of everything anything I needed, he was there. For a long time, like, he was my childhood sweetheart. I thought we were going to be together absolutely forever. Thank you. But that wasn't the case. Like, I don't know, I found out he would cheat on me and stuff all the time. And I ended up getting pregnant with my son Hunter. And you know, all I wanted was to be a good mom. Like, I just wanted to be a good mom. And I'd prayed for that baby, you know. I can remember so many times, like, God just blessed me with my own baby. And he did. And when I found out I was pregnant, I quit using. I didn't touch anything. I had a 9-pound, 2.9 healthy baby. Just absolutely beautiful. The prettiest blue eyes ever. You couldn't have asked for a beautiful baby. And you would think that would be enough to keep me clean and sober, but it wasn't. I want to express to you guys, like, I was telling my friend Tracy today, like, half of my life of addiction and me using, like, I spent so much time not wanting to use, not wanting to get high, not wanting that lifestyle, but could not find a way out. I did not know how to change it. I did not know what I was doing wrong. And, I had my son, and I tried to be a good mom. I really tried to be a good mom to him. I can remember when he was so little, like, I would just lay and watch him sleep. And if he got a wrinkle under his little blanket, like, it had to be straightened out, and I would hold him all the time and just love on him. And it just wasn't enough, I apologize if I say anything that hurts or harms anybody, because I am going to mention drugs in my story. So if you have a problem or anything, please call up on somebody, your sponsor or somebody you can talk to about this, because I don't mean to harm anybody, but drugs is a part of my story. But I got really bad on Oxycontins, me and my baby's daddy, and really it got to the point where I couldn't even get out of bed without one. We had a business, a vending route. Like, we made good money. We had cash stops. We had we had the tri-state area. We had all the stores in the tri-state area because we sold sugar-free cookies. And it could have been a lifetime investment, you know what I mean? Like, we could have had it made. But we got so bad on those pills that all we would do was the cash stops. We quit doing the checks. Then it got so bad that if we didn't have enough to where we felt like doing anything that day, that we just wasn't doing it. So we ended up losing that job. Me and him ended up splitting up. So I don't want to focus too much on the past. You know, like, I'm just going to say my past was bad, and I used a lot. A lot of people from Bell County know me. They know my lifestyle. They know my life. And I've spent a lot of my life using. A lot of my life I can't even remember. So I do want to get to the part where, I rededicated my life to the Lord. And the Lord was doing big things for me and my husband. I ended up going to treatment in 2017. I got clean and sober. And come back home. And I didn't know if my marriage was going to work out or not. My husband was still using. The day that I left treatment, he actually picked me up and was high. And I can remember, I knew I was making the wrong decision that day that I left. But he needed me, and I felt like that as a wife, I needed to be there for him, you know. So I left treatment, and I come home. As soon as I came home, I got into an ILP program here in Bell County. And I just, I was trying to do my best. I ended up rededicating my life to the Lord. And I can remember so many times that I would pray for my husband, Randy Allen. You know, I wanted him to get what I had, to feel what I had. God had given me a peace within myself, something that I'd never felt before, ever. And I wanted him to have that, you know. I continued to pray for him. I continued to seek the Lord. I continued to go to church. And, God found a way to save my husband. And, me and my husband, we got on fire for the Lord. And we started doing God's work, just ministering. And I was going into Bell County Jail and sharing the word there. How humbling was that? Because I've spent most of my life in that jail. It's crazy, but everybody that works there is like my family, you know. I've spent my life in jail. I've been to prison. I've done some really grimy stuff. I've robbed people. I've lied. I've manipulated. I've done some bad stuff. But, God showed me that there was another way. And so me and my husband, we had got clean and sober and just started living right and started giving back to God for, what he had done for us. I started going into Bell County Jail and sharing my what God had done for me. We were doing street ministry. We would cook. We would cook for so many people, man, and it was just great. Like, we'd spend all day and we would just pray over this food. And we would be so tired, but gosh, did we not love to see those people, our people, people that we had trapped with and got high with, who would, hadn't ate in days. We know because we'd been there. I've been homeless. I've been homeless so many times it's not funny. I've been hungry. I've been out in the cold. I have had to bum showers. I've went without showers,
Hey, tell them about the trap house you went into with Randy. Remember that? Without saying the name. Okay.
So that was on Thanksgiving.
Right?
Yeah. So, one Thanksgiving, the Lord had put it on my heart to feed actually it's a friend of mine. I won't say no names, but had put it on my heart to feed a friend of mine, and her house is actually. A lot of people go there to hang out and just get warm and get high, really. So, me and my husband, we went and got all this food together, and we took it, and we spent all day Thanksgiving fixing it. And we called Pastor Chip, and we were like, Chip, we got all this food. We're ready. We want to take it to these, my friend's house.
It was a feast.
I think we fed 30 plus people.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we meet Chip, and we load all this food, and I'm talking like a big old carload full of food. And we bring it over here, and we meet Chip, and Chip goes with us. And, we were able to go in the house and see our friends, people that we had used with, and be able to pray with them and be able to, feed them and just be able to talk about what God has done for us with them. Spread hope. At one point in my life, like, I was so hopeless. I did not see a way out. I had a heart that was cold. I didn't care about anybody. All I cared about was myself and getting high. And the Lord changed that for me. And that's why it's so important for me to give back. Anyway, my husband and me, we were doing street ministry, jail ministry, and we actually had we even started Celebrate Recovery here in Bell County. I sent my husband to the Isaiah house, and he had got clean. And when he came home, he said, Tensie, Celebrate Recovery is what done it for me. That's what made me want to get clean and sober. I want Celebrate Recovery in Bell County. I want everybody else to feel how I feel about Celebrate Recovery. And I said, well, let's do it. So that's how it started. First we started praying about it. God, if it's your will, let us be able to do this. Let us be able to bring Celebrate Recovery to Bell County. I can't even explain to you how God made a way for us to do this, because He sent people to us. Like, we didn't even have to go out and find these people. Like, people came to us, and then we got numbers, and then we reached out. And before I knew it, like, my pastor at New Heights, Mark Elkins, he was like, whatever you all want to do, I support you all. You all have my, I'm with you all 100%. And Mark is a wonderful man, and I just give him praise, for allowing God to work through him to help us, because he has been a great help to me. So anyway, we started Celebrate Recovery, and it's now at New Heights Church, and I cannot wait to get home and get down there and get involved in that. But so anyway, all this stuff is going on. And during all, us getting clean and stuff, my husband, I took him to the doctor, and my husband found out that he's sick, which my husband had been, struggling before this with some issues.
Okay.
Huh?
Take your time.
Okay. So this is where I get really nervous about sharing my testimony, because I don't want to hurt or harm anybody. But my husband, I went through a lot with my husband. My husband struggled with mental illness, and my husband was schizophrenic, and it's a dual diagnosis is what it is. And there are so many people out there that struggle with this and don't get help for it, For a long time, my husband was ashamed of it, and he didn't want to talk about it. He would get on his medicine, and he would do okay for a little while, and then he would stop taking his medicine, and it would get bad again, My husband would hear voices, and he would see things that weren't there. He was really paranoid. I can't explain to you what my husband went through, but I can tell you that it was pure torment. Pure torment. I also have a dual diagnosis, but I suffer from depression manic depression and drug addiction. So I know how bad that things are for me to deal with mine, but I can't even imagine what all he was going through or how it affected him. But I do know that I want to do whatever I can to help anybody who struggles with this today. I feel like that's my calling. There were many nights that my husband, many days actually, that my husband would want us to sit in a room, and he would think somebody would be outside the door trying to harm him. He would barricade us in the room. And I can't even express to you the feeling that I had when I had to look into my husband's eyes and see the fear of him being scared of something that was not there. There's
Let me interrupt you. If you want to go ahead and skip ahead, okay? I don't know if you want to go through this whole thing. It's up to you. I mean, it's a powerful part of the story that's unfolding, but if you want to skip ahead and whatever you want to do, okay? I just want to let you know. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just say that my husband struggled a whole lot, okay? And it not only affected him, but it affected me, and it affected our church family. It affected a lot of people around us. In 2019, my husband died to suicide. And he took his life in front of me. And I want to say this, that I know without a doubt that my husband loved me. I know without a doubt that my husband would not have done that. I feel like if he would have been on his medication, that maybe that something could have been done. Or if they would have paid him more serious, that maybe it could have been prevented. But after my husband's suicide, my church surrounded me, and they really tried to love me. But I got into a really dark spot. I'd lost my will to live.